Hello, I'm David from David's Way to Health and Fitness. I want to talk to you a little bit about the article I just finished writing, Newbies Failing at Fitness. And, you know, David's Way to Health and Fitness, we're not really, out trying to try to inform the serious athletes and stuff. We're a weight loss website and, of course, a YouTube channel now. And, those that we're trying to help are people who are trying to lose weight and people who are brand new to physical fitness. So, if you're the serious athlete out there, this really isn't a video or an article that's pertaining to you. So I know sometimes there's a lot of guys out there that like to interject with things. If you do, just be respectful. But once again, this is for those who are brand new to exercise and physical fitness. Um, every day people begin exercise regimens and they'll go at them for gangbusters for a little bit, then they're almost always doomed to failure when they begin a new exercise routine if they haven't done their due diligence by doing the homework first to learn what is good exercise, how to do it properly, proper form. Even if you're running, you got to use proper running form, jogging and such. Otherwise, what happens if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to set yourself up for burnout or injury. It happens all the time. So, first thing I'm going to recommend is if you're brand new to exercise, do yourself a favor and go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Get your heart listened to. You could go out there and overdo it with exercise and find yourself keeling over from a heart attack, which you and I neither one. We don't want that. We want you to to be able to exercise and have some longevity to it. So do it. There's different aspects of health that you may not be aware of. Conditions and it's imperative. For yourself and your family. All your loved ones, your friends to get checked out before you begin exercise, and it can save you a lot of money down the road if you have a health condition. It's better to take the time to get it corrected before beginning exercise than it is to find out the hard way that you have, some kind of a cardiac issue. So once you've been cleared by your doctor for your exercise, I want you to do your research as to what you want to do. Whether it's cardiovascular exercise, such as walking, jogging, or running, or maybe you want to do bicycle riding or some kind of cardiovascular activity, or if you want to strength train, there's there's lots of ways to exercise. No matter what you do, though, you want to educate yourself first what you're going to what you're going to need and how to best proceed with it. And this is going to prevent you from getting injured, and it's going to help to keep you from getting burned out. Either one of those scenarios, injury and burnout, will just completely derail you from ever achieving your goals. So I mean, if you're out of shape and you're overweight, and you're serious about, weight loss and feeling better and everything, you need to find an exercise that you're going to enjoy. I like strength training. I like cardiovascular training. So, those are things that I enjoy, but you may not enjoy those. You may simply just like to get out and go for walks. You may like to swim. Despite being an ex-Navy guy, swimming is not my favorite thing in the world to do, and nor am I, one that wants to get into, playing tennis and stuff like that. But they're all good, they're good exercise, routines, for you to get into. So there's no right nor wrong as to which approach you take, but the important thing is that you know what you're doing. And with any good exercise, once you've figured out what you want to do, first, I want you to understand that you need to learn how to pace yourself. And when I say pace yourself, I'm not talking about, exactly just going out there, and pacing your running or something like that. I'm talking about you need to pace yourself and how quickly you're going to progress in your exercise. You don't want to try to do more than what your body's ready for. Matter of fact, I would suggest to most people that you begin at a lighter rate than what you even think is necessary, and then just slowly build up. By slowly building up, you're going to get your body strong. It'll occur quicker than what you may imagine it will. If you're going to be a runner, you don't have to go out and run the first time you go out and try to do that. Go out and walk. I would recommend with walking, there's an excellent program out there called Couch to 5K, that you can try. Programs like that, you'll go out and you'll begin, you'll go and walk a certain distance, and then you might, after your first week of that, you might increase your distance a little bit, or increase your speed a little bit, try to get it done a little bit quicker, and then, after a while, once you're getting to where you're walking at a pretty good pace, you can start jogging, and then once you've started, getting used to and comfortable with jogging, then you can go out there and start running. But if you go out there and try to be a runner right away, you're setting yourself up for failure. You got to work into it. You got to take baby steps, and that goes for like weight training and stuff too. I suffered a really bad injury 12 years ago to my spine, and at that time I was in really good physical condition, and I had been lifting weights 3 days a week, pretty heavy, and I was bicycling 60 to 70 miles a week. When I started strength training again, I started with an empty bar for all my lifts, and I worked up slowly. I'd had an injury. I didn't want to injure myself again. Right now, I haven't been able to exercise at all since November 30th. I suffered another spinal injury on my job that has caused me a lot of problems, and I've had to go through a series of injections in my spine, and now I'm facing probable surgery here soon. To my back, I'll either, I guess I'm either going to get a spinal implant to provide electrical stimulation to kill the pain from my sciatic nerves, or I may get nerve ablation where they go in and just burn the nerve to kill it so it doesn't hurt. I don't know, but I haven't exercised since the first part of December. Now we're coming up on April here soon, so that's 4 months I haven't exercised, and as I get back into it, even though I was a pretty seasoned athlete at 58 years old, I still got to ease myself back into it in order to prevent injury. The next thing that you're going to run into problems with when you're new to exercise is if you're going to be exercising on your feet, I highly recommend you go get a proper pair of shoes. And, don't go down to your local Walmart and spend $30 on a pair of shoes and think that's good. Have proper foot support is critical. Even with walking, if you go out and start walking at a quick pace and your shoes aren't good, you stand the risk of a lot of injury to your joints, soreness to your joints, shin splints and such. You want shoes that are going to provide you proper support for what you're doing. That's critical. And then the next thing with your shoes, and I get into it in the article, you need to replace your shoes on a fairly regular basis. A lot of the recommendation might be like every 300 to 500 miles. Now, if you've never been one to exercise, you're going to think, man, that's crazy. 300 to 500 miles, it'll take me a couple of years. But, if you get out there and you don't burn yourself out or get yourself injured, you can rack up 300 miles of walking or jogging, running, whatever. You can rack up 300 miles in a whole lot sooner time than what you would ever imagine you can. It don't take as long as what people think it does, you know. But you know, if 1 mile seems like a long ways to you now, you know, of course 300 miles sounds like, oh my God, you know, how am I ever going to put 300 miles in? You know, it'd take me 2 years to do 300 miles. When the reality is, you can get to a point where you might be doing 300 miles every 3 months. You know, that is not beyond the realm of possibilities. I have known people personally and helped people personally who've had weight problems that have gone on to, you know, do 100 miles a month, you know, with jogging. So, you know, it's not beyond the realm of possibilities. And these people have all been, you know, significantly overweight and out of shape when they began. So, you know, most people, you know, can do these things. In the article, I refer the reader to the article I wrote here a while back, maybe a couple years ago now at this point, called Fitness Triad. One of the things you have to understand is with physical fitness, there's three important factors. It's like legs on like a three-legged stool. All three legs have equal importance. Your exercise, that's important. Nutrition is highly important. You know, exercise, that goes without saying, but your nutrition needs to be on point. You need to eat enough food to fuel what you're going to do. If you cut your calories too drastically, you're going to burn out. You're going to get tired. So what you got to do is you have to hit that sweet spot where you can lose weight and still be able to continue with your exercise without getting tired and burned out all the time. And the best way to do that is to eat low calorie, high nutrition foods. Cut out the foods with added sugars, processed foods and stuff. Eat whole healthy foods. That's the best way to do it. Your body needs nutrients, and if your body's not being fueled properly, it's just like your car. If you go out and put bad gas in your car's not going to run good. Your body's the exact same way. You have to fuel your body properly if you want to have success with your exercise. The next part of the fitness triad is rest and recovery. People don't understand this, but you know, it's not good for you if you're a beginner, okay? I'm not talking to you seasoned athletes that may be watching this. If you're a beginner, it is imperative that you get out and do your exercise and you eat normal, but in between you get proper rest. You want to try to get between 7 and 8 hours of sleep per night. And in the beginning, you might only want to do your exercise like every other day, or work, you know, exercise like 2 or 3 days, then take a day off. You just got to break it up. You got to give your body time to rest and recover and to rebuild itself. Which, back to the nutrition, to rebuild you need a good amount of protein. So these things are all, you know, they're all critical factors, you know, to ensure your success with physical fitness. Rest and nutrition are just as important as your actual exercise itself. They're all three legs of one stool that all have to be the same. You can't have a three-legged stool and have one leg shorter than the rest, because when that happens, you're going to sit down in it and you're going to fall over. So it's the same with your exercise. You're just going to fall over because you're going to be fatigued, or the other thing with being fatigued and not fueled properly is you're setting yourself up for injury. One of the other things that's going to hurt you with exercise, I've wrote about in the article, is you need to know how to warm up properly. A lot of people just automatically, they just start trying to stretch cold muscles, and when you're trying to stretch cold muscles, you're setting yourself up for injury. Just stop with that nonsense if you're doing it. You don't have to do it. If you're walking or jogging, simply just, you know, walk at a slower rate for about 5 minutes, and then speed it up. The same with your jogging or running. Ease into it, okay? Get your blood flowing, get your body warmed up, and ease into it. Once you get your body warmed up, if you want to do a little bit of static stretching, it's okay. It's not, totally necessary, but it's okay. But if you start stretching cold muscles, and especially if you think, you'll see these people, they'll start stretching, and then they'll kind of like be bouncing and stuff. You got to consider that muscle's tight when you're doing this. When they're cold, they're not as elastic. So when you're doing this, you're just hurting yourself. The best time to stretch, I've always found, it really is once I'm done with my exercise. Once I'm done with my weight training, my cardiovascular, or combination thereof, once I'm done with that, that's when I do stretching afterwards. And I'm retired military. I was never one really to spend a whole lot of time stretching before exercise, and whether it's been cardiovascular training, calisthenics, weight training, or whatever, bicycle riding, I've never spent a lot of time with it. But I do spend the time with warm up. That's critical. Get your body warmed up. Next thing on this is you need to have some progression. I want you to understand that you can't just jump into an exercise and go gangbusters. You need to have a progression. I know I already touched on that. I can't emphasize it enough. And by all means, we all begin our physical fitness regimens at different levels, okay? Some of us have, more history with it than others. Some people, you're just beginning it for the very first time in your life, and don't ever get caught up in trying to keep up with anybody else. We're all different. We have different body types. We have different capabilities, and what happens sometimes if you get to trying to keep up with other people, or you're trying to watch other people, and you don't know them. Even some people you do know this falls under. If you're trying to keep up with them and do what they do, they really may not have a clue what they're doing either. So you might start keeping up with old Joey Bag of Donuts down there at the gym and find out that one day he's injured and permanently out of the game because he didn't know what he was doing. So you don't want to get caught up in that, and really you want to watch out who you follow on YouTube and other social media as far as exercise goes, because the same thing will happen. You just don't know. You want to learn from credible sources. You don't want to just follow people that you see just because they look like they're in shape. And don't get caught up into thinking that you're going to look like an Instagram model or an IFBB pro bodybuilder. Those things are a lot of genetics and take a lot of time, and a lot of those people on performance enhancing drugs, and they've done other crazy things with their dieting and extreme exercise regimens and performance enhancing drugs. All these things are just really harmful to you. You don't want to get into none of that. So just be patient. If you're overweight and out of shape, you didn't get that. You just did not get that way overnight. You weren't in shape last week and fat and overweight and out of shape this week. It didn't occur like that. These things, they happen over time. So I want you to be patient and just understand, it's going to take you time. And another thing you got to understand, when it comes to getting in shape and losing weight, you don't want to do it too fast. We don't recommend that you lose more than 1 or 2 pounds per week. 2 pounds really in your beginning weight loss. But once you've kind of started leveling off, we don't recommend that you try to lose more than 1 pound per week. And then, once you you get to going with that, you know, there's going to come time where you're going to plateau and you're going to have to readjust your caloric intake or up your exercise or a combination thereof. Um, you always have to adjust. But one of the problems with rapid weight loss is it's not healthy, and and I'm telling you this from my personal experience. I've been out of shape. I've been 70 pounds heavier than what I am right now. Uh, I lost that 70 pounds pretty rapidly, and when you do that, it leaves you with unsightly loose skin. And you know, most people, you know, you can lose that weight and you'll feel better, but mentally, you know, it has an impact, you know, because if you end up with a whole lot of unsightly loose skin, you know, you think, well, why do I even bother? I still don't look very good. You know, I got this ugly loose skin, but you know, if that happens to you, you know, some people their skin will tighten back up. For some people it won't. At my age, I'm almost 59. I was in my 50s when I really, you know, got back into the really good shape again, and my loose skin will probably, even though I maintain it like 10% body fat, my loose skin will probably never tighten up. But that's okay because I feel good and I'm healthy. So I'm going to close this out. You know, I want you to be patient. I want you to learn what you're doing before you begin it. I want you to have your doctor's clearance. I want you to educate yourself on what you're going to do and adjust as often as you need to. Sometimes you got to back off on your intensity and stuff. There's no shame in that. It's intelligent, serious athletes know that they got to do this from time to time, and it's okay. It's perfectly okay, you know. So, you know, love your body, nourish it properly, and get your rest, get your exercise. Don't push it too fast. And until next time, I'm David signing off. God bless.